makes a move. Game's on. The Nuggets have won!
It's your boy back with another NBA playoffs video. Today is basically recapping round one of the playoffs and what we saw, just breaking down each series in its own, seeing if there was any surprises, and from my predictions as well. So this is what we learned from round one of the NBA 2024 playoffs. So the first series that I will be covering is the Celtics versus Heat series. This was an interesting series, but the Celtics really got the job done fairly easily in the end. Obviously, the Heat, without Jimmy Butler, weren't expecting them to do much, except for Game 2. Bit of a surprise that, they were able to beat the Celtics in double digits, and that's probably the first thing that we learned is that the Celtics aren't undefeatable. They just aren't. They can lose games, especially to teams that maybe aren't in form or with injuries. So that I still think it's their conference to lose, but it's not as far apart as I thought. I thought the Celtics were going to cruise to the East, but obviously not. But in the end, they got the job done in 5 in a blowout win. So, yep, that's the end of the first series. So, the second series we're looking at is the Thunder versus Pelicans series. Wasn't much. A sweep by the Thunder. It wasn't always easy going, but without Zion, I wasn't expecting much different. And SGA was good once again. Most of the Thunder showed up, and they're proving why they were the first seed. Obviously, a lot of people thinking they were a bit playoff shy, me too, but I did think that they were going to get past the Pelicans. So, yeah, not much to talk about in that. I think it's a pretty predictable series, but I think OKC just proving they're still a team to beat in the West, and looking forward to their series against the Mavericks. Next, we have a much more interesting series in the Knicks and the Sixers. This series went down to the wire and probably deserved to go to Game 7, but Jalen Brunson just was him. But, Embiid was iffy through the playoffs, Tyrese Maxey and Jalen Brunson. It was basically a one-on-one with other players, but, they were going at it, and when they played well, their team would win. But I love Tobias Harris, but 0 points in an elimination game. He's channeling that inner Klay Thompson, bro. But anyways, it had a great finish to the game, which I'll show you now.
Leads by 3. 7.7 on the clock. Get it in for Maxey. DiVincenzo tries to cut him off. He does. Get it ahead. Step in. McBride gets a piece. 3.7.
And how about Maxey to try to run into the front court, receive the pass, and try to get into a shot for a 3.
Batum to toss it in, floats it, Hield, throws it up, it's off, Hart rebounds, and it's over. This war of attrition is won by the Knicks.
And now to the Lakers-Nuggets series. It pains me to talk about my Lakers losing, but, there was nothing that we can do. Jamal Murray, back-to-back buzzer beaters, which I'll show in just a second. But the first one, over Anthony Davis, one of the best defensive players in the league, and he's like 6'10", hit it, buzzer going off in the mid-range, in the corner, and then to do it again in an elimination Game 5 to move the Nuggets on to the next round is kind of crazy. So, the Nuggets, they already started their series against the Timberwolves. That's why this video was late, because I just wanted to wait until the Magic and the Cavs series was done. But, they lost to the Timberwolves, but we'll see how they'll go. But, yeah, this series was crazy. Time for those Jamal Murray back-to-back buzzer beaters.
Makes a move. Game's on. The Nuggets have won. Jokic a screen. Murray to try to break the tie.
No timeout by the Lakers. They got to go.
James, a bump, a feed, a Prince shot. No! Zero's on the clock. The Nuggets advance. They have won. And the defense of their championship title is alive and well.
Okay, so now we're moving on to the Pacers versus Bucks series. A very interesting series. The Pacers got the job done in 6. Obviously, it was that Giannis didn't play, but we did see some good signs if you're a Bucks fan. Dame played pretty good. Couldn't really get him over the line in Game 6. We saw Chris Middleton still show that he can play well if he needs to when both Dame and Giannis were out. But, really, Siakam, Halliburton both had reasonably good series. Siakam, his first playoff series as a Pacer, I think, did really well. Halliburton was Halliburton. Didn't really have much of his scoring, but obviously a lot of passing to see. He didn't have much of both. Had like 12 and 12 and then like 30, I think like 25 and 4. So still a lot for this Pacers team. Interesting series against the Knicks. I don't know how they're going to go, but we'll just have to wait and see. Okay, back over to the West and the Suns Timberwolves. The Timberwolves just showing how dominant they are. Fun to watch. They got the brooms out. They absolutely swept the floor with the Suns. It was, the Suns didn't get smashed a lot, but the Timberwolves just better in the series, and that's really all that it was. We learned that Anthony Edwards is just him, and that Kevin Durant, he might be moving teams again, but that was another thing that we learned. Anthony Edwards is one to watch out, and once again against the Nuggets, Game 1 that we saw, he was crazy. Now over to the 4th versus 5th bracket and the Magic and the Cavs. The only game to go down to a Game 7. Bit disappointing that we didn't get more, considering there's 8 first-round matchups, but that's okay. This one, I didn't really watch the Game 7 because I was in bed because, Australian times as well, early in the morning. But the Cavs won the Game 7. Every game was decided on the road, but at times it just felt like it was a Paolo versus Donovan Mitchell show. I would have loved to see Orlando Magic move on because of their song, but yeah. And the final series that we're covering was the Mavs versus the Clippers, and all I have to say is Luka is him. Game 5, he led the Mavs in points, rebounds, and assists, and just give this man the MVP already. And, how many sons does he have, really? Okay, so before I end this video, I will do quick predictions on the second round. Obviously, the Timberwolves-Nuggets game started, and by the time this video's out or anyone watches this, probably all the other series have started. So, Timberwolves-Nuggets, I'll start with that. I'm not sure. I feel like the Timberwolves might win in 7. I just don't seem like the Nuggets will go out without a fight. But Anthony Edwards, if he plays in that form, I think he will play well. So Timberwolves in 7. Knicks Pacers, the other one, Knicks Pacers. This is an interesting series, but I'm going to have to go Knicks in 6. It'll be a bit like the 76ers series for the next 6 games, but a bit closer than that. I think the Pacers will put up a fight. And then also the Celtics versus the Cavs series. I think the Cavs, Donovan Mitchell will put up a fight, but I'm going to go Celtics in 6. I feel like I've lent to 6 a lot throughout this. So for the final series that I'll be covering, OKC versus the Mavs. This is an interesting series. I have to go Mavs in 7. I think Luka will show up. And I still don't know how OKC are going to go, but this is my quick predictions. That's the end of this video. That's what we learned in this playoff series in round 1. And I guess I'll see you for round 2.